What is up, people?
Hello.
We are here again for another rendition of Ruckus Wrestling. I am obviously here with my tag team partner in this journey, that is Justin Toner. And we have a lot to talk about, more than we thought we were going to do. But before we were going into this week,
Yeah.
more than we would want to, and more than we expected. There's a
Yep.
difference. So, but Justin, how we feeling overall?
Uh, Doing okay tonight. Had a hectic day. Had internet issues earlier in the day, but thankfully they got fixed before this evening. Got a lot to say about the pay-per-view. Got to didn't see it live. Got to watch check out a replay of it. So I got all caught up on it. Friend had a pool party, so uh, priorities. Even though as much as I love
Exactly.
wrestling, I was like I didn't want to leave my friend hanging. And we had a good time. So
Which is why you see me in a different background, because priorities. I am in my family's abode, so you see me a little bit different background. Do not zoom in on what's behind you, please. Do not do that. But I can't take it away from where I'm at. But the show must go on,
yes.
and which is kind of what we were all thinking when we lost last weekend. Last week we were, Terry Funk took us by surprise, but this one really did. Bray Wyatt, also known as Wyndham Rotunda, son of oh, help me out, Justin. Son of what?
Son of Mike Rotunda, well-known journeyman wrestler, wrestled in NWA, WCW, and WWE. His most memorable gimmick would be as Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, who former tag team champion with the Billy Diamond and DiBiase's Money Inc. So they go back. He's he's pretty well known, and his sons followed in his footsteps. Also, he's I believe his uncle is Barry Windham, because they're somehow related, and Bray's grandfather was the legendary Blackjack Mulligan as well. So it's like he's a serious third. He was a serious third gen superstar for sure.
Yeah. And thank you for the history lesson on there, because I was blanking a little bit. But just so you know, for our listeners off screen, this hit me hard. I literally just messaged when this happened late at night. I just messaged my tag team partner Justin. I was like, dude, we gotta talk. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
did I shed some tears? A lot. Just and for there's certain people that come along and that just hit you and just impact you as a person, even though you've never met them. In the wrestling world, Eddie Guerrero was one, and to me, Bray Wyatt is the second. Of they were the two that you just connected with for a personal level for some reason, and you connected, like you just wanted to see whatever they would do, and the fact that they were taken from us. I think Bray was taken from us way too much younger compared to Eddie, because we saw a lot of what Eddie could do, but Eddie was in his prime. That was the difference. Whereas Bray was just getting started to me. So there's a difference between the two. But Bray, for the spooky stuff, Bray did it. He was the most, like I said before on another show. He is the
Mm-hmm.
most creative soul I've ever seen in wrestling. And it maybe didn't work, maybe did not, but you could see where it was going. He tried it, and they let him do it, and he was able to sell it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
very hard. It's extremely hard to sell what he was doing. But the thing is, 70% of the time, he made it work, which is very hard to do
Mm-hmm.
for that spooky stuff, especially. And I was on pins and needles every time. I know he might have said a lot of bull crap, like, I'm here, and then who you are, and I am here, and you are him, and I am they, and like all that stuff. But I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm there. Like, and for some reason, just how he said it and the cadence that he said it, it was so great. And then and like we thought Chris Jericho was good at like reinventing himself. Dude, Bray did it in like 12 years. He invented himself like 3 times in 12 years.
Yeah.
And just it just I thought I'd be emotional tonight, but I'm not, because I was able to like have this time to like compose myself.
Yeah.
But Bray Wyndham Rotunda is probably the most creative mind. Like I said it before, and I'll shout out Strong Style that I said the comment to. He is the most creative mind we ever seen, and probably will see in wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, it was a rough. The at the last week was rough. There was a lot of. I mean, first like Terry Funk, and then like 24 hours later, out of nowhere, Bray Wyatt is gone. And it was revealed that he had come down with COVID, which is why, and then that exacerbated, I guess is the right word, a heart issue, and that's why he had been off of TV since the LA Knight feud at the beginning of the year, and that's what the life-threatening illness that a lot of reports about why he wasn't on TV. Like people were like, "Where is he? What's going on?" It's like, and it looked like he was doing better. The word was getting out that he might be able to be, medically cleared to be able to return to the ring. And then Triple H sent out that tweet saying that his father called him up to tell him that he had a heart attack and died just out of nowhere. It's like it's one of those just awful, tragedies. It's
and Justin, just if you could just help everyone, like, what is truth, what is fiction, because more reports coming out, like, to me, like, I just take what Sean Ross Sapp says at this point, because he's the one that got as that close to the family that says this is what
he
happened.
was the one who broke the Sean Ross Sapp at Frightful was the one who the Rotunda family reached out to him and allowed him to, because people were gonna run rampant with speculation about like what caused the heart attack and how he died and what because like when someone dies that young, you're wondering what the heck happened. Was it a heart attack? Well, God forbid, is it suicide or like a drug overdose or some or like what happened last year with Briscoe, car accident, gone. It's like and they wanted to let it get out there to the fans that what had happened. So that's how that information was put out. It was so it's been confirmed by other people as well afterwards.
The heart defibrillator, like, that was what Triple H was on. So let me ask you this: like, when you hear that story, do you think it's true? And then, like, how is he cleared if the doctor told him, like, you should be in the heart defibrillator? Like, that's what throws me off.
Yeah, that's where that's where because those reports were just like, they were like unconfirmed stuff. They were just like they were part of the rumor mill. So it's like we don't know like how accurate that stuff is. And then and we're gonna get into that with the whole CM Punk Jack Perry thing that happened on the weekend as well, because there is a lot of conflicting stories.
That's worse.
That's even worse. But it was made clear that it's just that it's like COVID cost him issues with his heart as an after effect, and it's like it looked like he was doing all right, and then then he's gone. It's a horrible thing. My heart goes out to the family, and also to the wrestlers, because you could tell that this hit the roster hard because and people have posted a lot of videos on social media and things online, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram. WWE even put out like a half-hour video of just some of the wrestlers just telling stories about sharing memories of him and just what a good guy he was. You know, it's like he was one of those like with Terry Funk. No one had anything bad to say about him. He was one of those. He's one of the good ones, and that he became really close with a lot of people. He went on his way to help other people. You know, um, uh, just at the after Raw went off the air because Becky Lynch and Zoe Stark had the main event match, and that Becky Lynch got really emotional, taking off the Bray armband. It's like she was because both her and Seth were really close with Bray, and they both take it really hard. She fans recorded it after the show went off the air. She shared a story about how like after she got to the main roster, she found out she was going to do like a tables match. She's never done a tables match before and didn't know how to properly set up a table. And Bray heard about that and was like, "Don't worry, let me show you how to do it." You know, that's the kind of guy he was. You know, it's like, I mean, this combined with Broly, it's like it's really hard. I mean, like you could see the how tough it was for both Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman on SmackDown when they're paying tribute. You know, it's like you can see the pain on their face. You know, having to say goodbye to their friend. You know, it's like it's.
I mean, Braun was a godfather to his kid.
Yeah.
You know, and like if you don't think like wrestling, like when there's a faction, like if you're coming into it and you just like when the factions happen, you don't think they're like close. Exhibit A, like Braun Strowman, who was the last member of the Wyatt family, but when it was a true Wyatt family,
Yeah.
As a black sheep, he was the godfather to Bray's child. So if you don't think that they put people together and they don't, and it makes for good TV. If you're not together, then what makes any sense? You know, it to a writer, like to a writer standpoint, like why wouldn't you not put them together every single time?
Yeah.
But for like an outsider standpoint, like, oh, they're a faction, and then they just show up and be like, oh, we're gonna do this. Like, but does the chemistry actually work? So yeah, the Shield did travel together. Spoiler alert, they did. You know, for a little bit, but they were
when you spend that much time together, you become close. And like with the Shield example, it's well known that Seth Roman and Moxley are all still very, very tight, very good friends. Even especially with Moxley, even though he's left to go to AEW years ago now, they stay keep in touch, and stuff. I just wanted to say I didn't get to see like the Wyatt family stuff because when I got back into watching WWE is just before the Fiend debut when he came back as the Fiend, and I was like blown away by like the whole concept, like the Firefly Floodhouse and everything. It's like nobody else in wrestling was doing something like that. It was unique. It was original. It was creative. He got away with some stuff I didn't think he would, especially about how he was. I mean, he had a Vince McMahon like as Satan puppet in the Firefly Funhouse. Like,
I'll let you know. I can let you know. Like, so from a person who kept up with Bray Wyatt since the incarnation, like I've always kept up with wrestling, for good or bad. For some reason, I was like, all right, let's just see, like dirt sheets. I was mainly like dirt sheets person, and then I would watch wrestling. And then I realized, oh, wrestling might be good. Let me tune in, which is the Triple H era right now. Like I tune into every show, and in AEW for sure, which AEW is kind of falling off, but that's near nor there. But still, like wrestling right now is in to me the best era we've ever seen it. And I don't care what the marks say from my era, and I'm 36 years older than me. But still, like this is this is an amazing era of wrestling.
Yes.
From what we're having with WWE, and for the product that they're putting out, and then what AEW is putting out, even with all the crap that's going on with everything, I could not ask for better wrestling. I will say this right now.
I'm with you on that because like right now with what's going on, This is the most like I haven't been this like excited and enthusiastic and looking forward to just like what's going to happen next in wrestling since like the Attitude Era. Like
Yeah.
it's like this is
1996,
I mean,
1995.
we got plenty both but plenty criticisms about like WWE, WWE and AEW both have they have a lot of good stuff going on, but also have stuff that's like not so great. It's like like we're gonna be honest about like what's something do something that we're like or like I don't think that was a good idea. But overall, there's just so many talented people out there, both men and women, and we're in the middle of this like renaissance with women's wrestling that I'm so glad that I didn't miss out on.
No.
It's like I missed like the kind of like the beginning of it, like, but I got in back in the right time with like with and getting to see like the horsewomen and what they've done for WWE and everything, and then just all these other wonderful talent that keeps coming up. It's like Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and so many others. It's like
there's so many arrows of like you could look at like the with them, and then you can look at like the golden era, the black and gold era of NXT.
NXT
like,
was amazing.
Like the times were like, man, that was really great. But then you just look at like what AEW, and then it makes like controversy creates like good stuff, and just
competition.
Competition creates cash, as I think Eric Bischoff said, and he's right. Now, as much controversy, and we can get to the dirt sheets, but as far as like overall wrestling, we just had a quote unquote indie promotion sell the most tickets we've ever seen, and put on a hell of a show. I don't care what behind the scenes crap that happened, and we'll get into that later, but All In
was big.
Was big, and it was awesome.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, no, they set some records, and they showed that people are enthusiastic for AEW. It's like they're not like some flash in the pan like some people thought they might be. They are legit alternative. They are now firmly. I mean, WWE still numero uno. That's not as much as Tony Khan would like to say otherwise. So there's it's like I understand why, but
they could probably put 90,000 in that arena.
Yeah, it's like but it's now clear that it's like AEW is the number 2 wrestling promotion on the planet now. Nothing against New Japan or it's like or another it's like or anything like that, but as far as like the excitement and like like what they're doing, it's like they're legit. They're not going anywhere, and they got a lot of they got a lot of good. They got some good stuff going on, and it's like I'm glad that they're succeeding, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I'm very much excited for that they're succeeding because I'm just tired of because it makes WWE keep putting up good shows, even though these past 2 weeks have been pretty mundane. But compared to what they did in like 2017, these are still like quality shows. On that. But just kind of wrapping up. I know we kind of went on the trail, but that's what we do here. Right. But just kind of go back to Bray Wyatt, and because I told Justin like this wrestler, I attached to him as soon as he came on the scene when he debuted against Kane. Actually, even with the vignettes, I was like, I don't know, I like, and I've never even seen Cape Fear. I'll put that way. I've never seen Cape Fear, which is what his character was based off of.
It's like,
and there was an old wrestler that was based off of Cape Fear too. What was his name, Justin?
I can't remember the top of my head, but yeah, someone did a similar like gimmick based off of that character from the movie.
Yeah, but Bray Wyatt, obviously, like I'm gonna do like Aaron Turner does. Shout out to Aaron Turner.
Yep.
He came on as Husky Harris, in the NXT, like the younger brand, or where they were trying to do something, and then Triple H was like, let me just take it as a promotion, But Husky Harris, he was part of. We're walking over. he was paired off with Cody Rhodes, dashing Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I should say. So when people are like, "Oh, Cody, how does Cody know?" and then like someone on social media were just like posting everything. I was like, "No, he was his coach."
I read about that.
Husky Harris.
Cody was his main roster mentor.
Right, and then Husky Harris was like NXT, and I remember seeing Husky Harris. I'm like, this guy's just a fodder, just like Mr. Perfect Son. And then they tried to push Mr. Perfect Son, and then it took Husky Harris back, and then next thing I know, I'm like, I remember Bray Wyatt's debut. I don't remember if you remember this. When Bray Wyatt was like in his chair, and then like
no, I wasn't watching at the time, so you explain.
All right, so they did a bunch of vignettes for the Wyatt family.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of them, like I don't know, like for like a month and a half, maybe a month, maybe 3 weeks. I don't know. I don't know the time frame. And then he did the "we're," and I was like, all right. And then they came. It was a cane match, and then
okay,
Rowan and Brody Lee, that's what I call him now. Attacked him, and Bray just like strokes down, like just in character, just sits in the rocking chair, does this thing, and as they're like attacking him, and then he gets up and like he does the whole he did the whole thing of like follow the buzzards, and you hear the whole crowd going Husky Harris, like during his debut, and I'm like, well, that killed it, but I thought it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kept going. And then next thing you know, he was a main event guy. No one could touch him. Not really no one could touch him, but like when Bray Wyatt came on screen, and did he talk nonsense? Yeah. But every like there's so many, like it, unfortunately with anyone's death, you look back at what he said, you're like, oh my God, that was so genius now. Looking back at it. So yeah, dude, I was a big spooky guy with Undertaker. I love the Ministry of Darkness. I was even like, let's see what Malachi does. Yes, I was that guy. But Bray, his promos, yes, it did get to a repetitive nonsense of just like gibberish. But he reinvents himself over and over again. And I will say, and I'm not going to get emotional, but he is the most impressive. There's no one like him, and I don't think there ever will be to reinvent. Like Chris Jericho is probably the best in reinventing himself, but in 12 years you reinvented yourself 3 times, and all 3 times you're like, shit, I don't want to fuck with that guy.
Mm-hmm. If you see me coming, run.
Oh, that promo. We'll save it for Smackdown.
We'll save that for a second. But yeah, he was very creative. It's a real tragedy. He will be missed for sure, and he will definitely influence many other wrestlers to come. And he will definitely be imitated, but he will never be duplicated for sure.
No, thank you. He was the most creative wrestler. I think he will be I hope there's more creative wrestlers, but
I'm sure he's going to inspire many people as the years go by.
Exactly. I don't like the thing is like in wrestling business, when you say like, oh, he's the most charismatic, he's the most creative, he's the most blah. There's people trying to push the envelope, and they're going to connect the dots eventually with like LA Knight for one, and The Miz. I will say that, and MJF, like they can connect the dots and make it work. Now is for what the creativity that Bray did for his characters, it's very hard to do. It's extremely hard to do. Undertaker did it, and it wasn't him. It was just like I'm just tired of doing the dead man thing, and I'm just a badass. Bray just like did it, and he did it like that Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, that was just
how? How does that work? And it did.
Yeah. I mean, like
it took
like I said, the stuff with the Vince McMahon puppet like blew my mind. That it's my favorite was the one Firefly Funhouse where like the Mr. McMahon Muppet was like scolding him and like saying that it's like about what he's been doing, and then Bray pulls out a wad of like $100 bills and feeds them into his mouth, and he changed it to change his mind. It's like I was like, I can't believe he could get away with that. It's like Vince McMahon must really love him for him to allow him to be able to poke fun at him like that. It's like dear God.
Yeah, and like the Yowie Wowie, and just like it was Pee Wee Herman, like the most demonic. Yeah, and it took off of what John Moxley said in that thing. It was like, oh, that's such good shit, and he literally Bray was like, all right, I'll take that and I'll just use it, and he got away with it. He was like, that's such good in the shit, and then the Husky Harris, and like it took all of his like stuff, because like when he first came out the Firefly Funhouse, I'm like, what is he doing? And then I got it.
Yeah,
and when you get it, it's like,
a while to get
wow.
it. Once I read up on like his previous stuff and the Sister Abigail stuff, then it all made sense to me. And then like same with the Husky Pig, Husky Harrison. But
yeah, and then they screwed up. Goldberg was the worst thing they could ever do.
Well, yeah, no, it's like the booking screwed up the Fiend with the Hell in the Cell against Seth, and then Goldberg beating him in Saudi was like the nail in the coffin.
And what's the biggest, if you want to get emotional, go back to watch his first actual like promo when he got back. He's like, this is me, man. I'm just talking to you. And I'm like,
you can see the fans love him. It's like it's. So yeah, let's rest in peace, Bray. Well, we're gonna miss you.
Touch on that.
Oh, that was absolutely freaking brilliant. That Firefly Funhouse match. I mean, they took something, because that was like the WrestleMania that happened right after the pandemic started with COVID. It's like,
yeah, because they were supposed to have like a big match, and then the COVID happened.
What they did was, and that Cena was like, I'm along for the ride, like just poking fun at everything related to Cena, like the fact that they did like the whole have him come out like he was like a member of the NWO, calling out how people like complained for years about why don't you turn Cena heel? It's like it was absolutely brilliant. It's like, and it's something that will be fondly remembered for a long time. It's a very memorable. It's like, it wasn't like a match, but as something that was a part of WrestleMania, it's like, it's unforgettable for sure.
Was what came first as far as like those theatrical matches? Because I know like it happened, and like GIF helped me out here too. Was it the deletion, or was
like Matt Hardy got into the cinematic stuff with the broken character, both in over in Impact, and then he got to do a little bit of it when he was in WWE again for a little while, including with because Broken Matt and Bray feuded, and then ended up joining forces for
that makes sense, because they did the thing with Bray was like the lawnmower or whatever it was.
That was also again when I wasn't watching, so it's like I can't speak to it. So
but the fact that John Cena even came out was like, that was my favorite match.
So yeah, Cena said it's one of the most favorite things he's ever done is the Funhouse match with Bray.
Yeah.
Because it's like it allowed him to have fun. It's like, and he was not afraid to poke fun at himself during that whole thing, and help put that version of Bray in the Fiend character over. So
yeah,
props to Cena.
And like that return still to me just gives me chills. in Extreme Rules when he came back.
Yeah, last year when he came back after he got re-signed.
It just
very memorable.
It just
it's tough.
It just sucks because, as Aaron said, and I thought I was going to tear up, but I'm not. Because I said, just give me some seconds to talk about Bray, because just Bray, I connect with Bray as a fan. He was what I wanted in wrestling. He was what made me love wrestling. Type of creativity. I tuned in. He was I tuned in just to see him. That type of wrestler. When they talk about demographics of okay, this segment did this and this segment did that. No, I was that part of this segment did this when it came to Bray, just because of for some reason when he came on, I was connected because I needed that other Undertaker was fine, but he was, to me, he was one dimensional, whereas Bray you knew what you were gonna get, but it was always let's see what he does. It's a difference.
Yeah.
Whereas Undertaker, you know what you're gonna get. When that gong hits.
Yeah, I mean Undertaker did
loved it,
but people still loved it. Just
right. When that gong hit, he loved it, and he spoke gibberish too. He spoke a lot of gibberish. his promos were not good.
At least not all Ultimate Warrior level gibberish. We'll say
no, he's never gonna be as far as popular wrestlers, he's never gonna be Ultimate Warrior gibberish. But
yeah,
at least
if you want your brain to hurt, go watch some old Ultimate Warrior promos and try to decipher them.
And I'm gonna take the wings of the plane, Hogan. And I'm what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. Anyway, I've said all I need to say. Any final thoughts before we move over to the All In pay-per-view on Bray?
The wrestling world lost the most creative mind we've ever gonna see, and I wish we had more with him, because I think that he was just on the precipice, of giving us some really high quality entertainment, and we lost a really good person, according to what I've heard. Now, again, I've never met the man. You hear it all the time. Unfortunately, what you always hear is you hear the best of your life when you die, which is unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we haven't heard anything different from the fact that Mr. Wyndham is not only the most creative mind we've ever seen in wrestling, but one of the most kindest people we've ever had in wrestling, who would take his time out to make sure that everyone had a good show. Everyone had a great match. And if you reach out to him, he didn't have a grudge. He wanted to make sure that you had the best performance you possibly could if you reached out to him. And we're all better for having him as an influence in our lives.
Yep. Yowie wowie, baby.
Yowie wowie. Exactly. So, Justin, you want to take it to the next segment?
All right. We're going to talk the AEW had their massive pay-per-view this Sunday, All In at Wembley Stadium in London, England. I don't know if I'll agree with Tony saying it was the biggest wrestling event ever, but it was definitely a historic event because of they set sales and a level of attendance that is definitely got people's attention. I mean, they set a new record for paid attendance for a wrestling event at 81,035 people is the official number. Word is that they the money they made just for the show alone off the ticket sales was $10 million, which is incredible. There's going to be a debate about was this the largest wrestling crowd of all time? It's WrestleMania. If people people are still trying to figure out what the actual numbers for WrestleMania 3 at the Silverdome were. And there's been WrestleManias that have been about close to this, or I forget which one from several years ago. It was like around like said that WWE said that they sold like 80,000 tickets. It's like, so it's like, but it's like you wonder like how accurate those numbers are, because sometimes like if it's in them, they've loved to fudge numbers just a little bit. Since Tony's not that kind of a person, it's like people are trusting that this is accurate. And it's probably not too hard to be able to find out why. But just looking at the crowd when you're watching the show, the pay-per-view, it's massive. It's like I hadn't seen a crowd like that. Like that was like, that felt like a WrestleMania 3 like level. Like, holy cow, look at all those people there. It's like it's so big, huge win for AEW, huge success. That
I think it's a big success for wrestling.
It is. It is a good thing for wrestling, because now it's like WWE is going to try to top this.
Exactly. And
they'll find a way. They'll find a way to get more people into a stadium for either a WrestleMania or another show. Most likely a WrestleMania. And it's funny, when they did Money in the Bank in London earlier this year, they had Cena there asking the crowd if what they would think if they did a WrestleMania in London, and which would be the first time that a WrestleMania has been done not in the United States. It's like every WrestleMania has been held in the United States except for one, which was WrestleMania 6 in Toronto. That's the only one. Sorry, corrected myself. I meant to say North America. Mm-hmm. It's never left North America, because they did WrestleMania 6 in Toronto. So it's like it has been out of the country before, but not off the continent, which would be huge. If you're interested in if they'd be able to pull off with with the time difference. But I think that a WrestleMania in London is now even more likely now after what they did in Wembley Stadium. WWE is going to want to do that now, because they're going to try to see if they can top 81,000 with the WrestleMania in London for sure.
So they're going to top it, but that's not the point. That's not the story here.
Yeah, exactly.
That is not the story.
It's that they're able to do this. Period.
Yes, that's the type of a 4-year-old company. A 4-year-old company. Was able to put 81,000 plus ticket sales. Sales, not comps, not according to Tarticon. 81,000 plus ticket sales. Tickets sold.
That's incredible.
In a stadium to watch a separate brand of the one that's been going since 19 ever.
Yeah, and
a 4-year-old
81,000 people, not WWE. That's big.
Yes. So to sit there and say like, well, WWE can do that. Like all the marks that are out there, like, no, you don't understand how this is good for wrestling.
Yeah.
People need to shut up with all their biases. This is amazing for wrestling. Is the fact that there's these many wrestling fans that like, I don't care who's coming here. You're gonna put me Kenny Omega versus the Bullet Club? Who gives a fuck who Bullet Club is? Even though that's actually a pretty good card, but still, like, like that was actually like, if you think about it, that's a mediocre card that still sold over 81,000 plus.
They sold most of those tickets before they even had the card finalized, which just showed how people excited with the fact that they were coming over there. It's like international fans are very strong, and it's like it's WWE is shown that. I mean, like, just look at how if you go back and watch like Clash of the Castle last year, which was, and then like Money in the Bank in London, and then like Backlash in Puerto Rico. When WWE goes outside of the states, out of the continent, that the fans are excited, because it's like it's a rare thing now. Mm-hmm. And so you get a really red mother effing hot crowd, and like that's why like those shows were for WWE were fantastic, because like there was a lot of great matches on those cards, but like the crowd took it to another level, and they definitely did that for All In here. Like those fans at Wembley, man, they were loud.
They were hot.
Yeah.
And the MJF Adam, like we'll get into it on that, but just like yeah, unfortunately we had the other crap that happened, but as far as like a card, it wasn't like the best card, but it performed.
Yeah,
That's the
there was a
thing.
lot of there was a lot
You
of
got your money's worth. We're gonna talk about it. Unfortunately, it over some bullshit overtook it. But dude,
we'll
that
get
card
to
was
in a second.
the performances, everything from top to bottom. Like I was loving everything from All In.
Yeah, I mean there was not it's like there was like no like match I would say was like actively bad.
I miss Jamie Hayter. That's about it.
The women's match was definitely like maybe like I'd say maybe is the weakest match, and it was still pretty. It was still a decent match.
The right person won for the venue.
Yeah. I was totally when we were talking about predictions last week. I totally did not even get take into account the fact that oh yeah, that's right. They probably would give the title to Saraya in
I thought
front
you
of
said
her.
that. I thought you said that.
I thought it was a possibility, but I still was kind of hoping maybe she wouldn't get such a short shift reign. But stuff happens.
I was not wanting her to get a short shift reign, but also
I'm not going to complain about the fact that Saraya got
the story of Saraya coming back makes
and it was
a lot more
not
sense.
just in front of like her, not doing it in like in her home in her backyard, but she did it in front of her family. Her whole family was there at ringside for this, so it's like it was huge, and they came out to her during her entrance. I mean that's had to be like so special for her. It's like some of the booking was like how that went down. It's like I was like it was a little iffy on, but not the result. I don't have a complaint about that. Just some of the other matches I thought really stood out. Of course, FTR versus the Young Bucks was very, very good. It wasn't like 5-star level, like banger match level, but it was still really good.
Still good.
I felt that it got a little bit overdone with the finisher kick outs near the end.
You know they're gonna do that. You know they're gonna do that.
Yeah, it's like especially the Bucks don't like to do that. But they still pull out some really good stuff. And I love the finish there where they countered Meltzer Driver into the Shattering Machine, which I thought was a pretty dope finish.
I'm glad that FTR retained. Let us know that like we're gonna see what FTR does, and then after
that, even though like as we talked about last week with the Cash Wheeler stuff, it's like his recent arrest, and I was like wondering like, well, are they gonna let him keep titles? Obviously, Tony Khan and them are not worried about that with the fact that the FTR are still the tag champions. So
if once FTR made it there, like I was thinking like maybe they're gonna, like we talked about, like maybe they're gonna like drop it to the Young Bucks, but I was like as soon as our show ended, I was like, you know what, they probably won't.
Yeah, and props the
FTR made it there. Like that was their original plan.
Yeah,
and there was no reason for them to drop it. And to me, we're both in agreement. Like FTR is better than Young Bucks. And there's nothing against the Young Bucks. Like they're one of the greatest tag teams we've ever seen in our lives.
Oh yeah.
But they're number 3 to the Usos in this generation. And FTR is number 1. So it's just unfortunate that Cash Wheeler decided to beat the fuck out of somebody with his gun.
I was worried that I was going to put this whole thing in jeopardy, but thankfully it did not. So it's like a really good match. Props to the Bucks for putting FTR over. So like they win the trilogy 2-1.
Oh yeah. By the way, take us through the card. I'm sorry.
So let me see. The opening match was CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the real world title.
We'll get into what that shit was about beforehand, but that match was so good.
That match almost did not happen due to something that happened backstage. We're going to get into in more detail.
But that match was so fucking good.
Yeah, no, they did some really creative stuff with that match, him and Joe.
We got the Samoa Joe just like when they did the springboard, he just like, I don't care. Like we got the
I love that. And the fact that he busted out the Pepsi plunge finisher. You don't see him do that very much anymore. It's usually either like go to sleep or Anaconda Vice. So it's like that was creative. So yeah, that was a really good opener.
And Samoa Joe and
pre-show.
Just
pre-show.
Yeah, it was a pre-show, but like let me just say this as far as Samoa Joe and CM Punk. That is one of those like fight forever like type of like matchups where you're never gonna get tired of it. Like you can see McIntyre and Sheamus go at each other. You can see Sammy and KO go at each other forever. And you're just never gonna be like, oh, let's see this 50-50 match. No, we're just like, all right, we're in for a treat. I don't give a fuck who wins. They just work so much. But the fact that we had like this history of like, oh, because they did it, like, what was their series in ROH? It was like, they had like 7 matches or something like that.
It's like I missed out on that stuff, so I can't.
It was just like their history was just so good, so you understood.
They feuded for quite a while, and like Joe dominated that feud. I mean, so Punk finally was able to get some wins over Joe for the first time in like forever. So
but it was
a great opener. Quick, there was 2 matches on the pre-show before the pay-per-view started. Hook defeated Jack Perry in an FTW rules match to get the FTW title back from him.
Solid match.
Yep, solid match. Weird moment where he looked into the camera during the match and was talking about something, made a comment about real glass, which comes into play with what happened behind the scenes.
And they took a bump.
Yeah. And the thing that surprised me was MJF and Adam Cole won the ROH tag titles from Aussie Open.
That was weird. I was not.
That's where I was like, okay, what's going to happen in the main event? And we're going to get the main event.
We're going here because it's just we're just going to go here. Like I figured it's going to be how they're going to work it out. Like I just figured out they made them the champs because like what's the like storyline wise, if you make them champs and then you put them against each other and then one person wins over another, unless it's just going to be like. You have to have the way they made that match, which is not to spoil what you're trying to do, but the way they ended it for their, it was weird. But
you can just see how over Cole and MJF are as a team right now. I mean, like they marked out for the stupid kangaroo kick stuff that it's like, dear God, man. That just says it all right there. And the double clothesline,
It lets you realize, like, yes, Adam Cole is that guy, and then MJF is also that guy, and like you don't want them to see them stop doing what they're doing.
No, it's like we'll get to it more about the main event, but it's like they're
keep going, sir.
All right, so after the opener, we had 6-man Bullet Gold joined forces with Takeshita.
Just let me stop here for a second.
Yeah.
For our audience, I'm gonna drop out for a second. I'm gonna let Justin go through the rest of it because there is a lot of card, and I will be right back for that.
Okay. So we had Bullet Gold and Takeshita joined forces with Don Callis and the Guns in their corner against Golden Elite, as they dub themselves, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, and Kenny's buddy from Japan, Kota Ibushi. It was a good match. Lots of good action. The heels won. Takeshita got a, as Simon Miller loves to say, the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment for the win, the surprise roll up. Maybe a little bit tights, and got this shocking pin on Kenny to further that whole feud with him and Callis versus Kenny, and they're having a match at the All pay-per-view coming up on Sunday, 1-on-1. To keep that thing going. So that was a solid match. We already talked about FTR and the Young Bucks. It was an excellent match. Stadium Stampede match. You never know with these kind of like crazy matches with the stadium and everything, but man, this one like definitely delivered in the entertainment factor. There's some crazy spots. Props to Jon Moxley for the Terry Funk tribute, pulling out a branding iron to use as a weapon on the Best Friends. It's like, Moxley was heavily influenced by Terry Funk. He loved Terry Funk, so it was cool seeing him bust out the branding iron to pay tribute to Terry. Punk also did that. He did the spinning toe hold on Samoa Joe, which is one of Terry Funk's signature moves. So, there was a lot of tributes to both Funk and Bray Wyatt on the show, which was really nice to see. This Stadium Stampede match was insane. I mean, lots of people bleeding. Moxley walking around with sticker, stuff in his head. Just absolute carnage. Lots of bleeding. Barbed wire. Orange Cassidy going Taipei deathmatch by putting duct tape on his fist and then covering it with broken glass to level up the orange punch against the heels. Santana Ortiz, it was nice to see them back in action after so long. They both looked really good. Obviously, I think they were having a lot of fun out there. There's a couple botches, especially with the ladder there with Penta and Santana, that could have gone really bad, but thankfully they recovered and got the spot. They pulled the spot off. So I can't go full 5 stars because there's a couple little botches here, but it's hey, stuff happens. Great cameo when the heels were dominating for a bit. Here comes Trent's mom Sue in a van with cookie sheets and other weapons to help out her son and his allies. There was a funny moment where Moxley went over and just planted a big kiss on Sue, and she just notes out get the F out, get the F off of me. It's Claudio and Eddie Kingston tried to kill each other. The finish was really, I thought, really clever, where it got down to Eddie and Orange versus Claudio and Moxley in the ring, and Eddie just unloading on Claudio and Moxley with the back fist, and then he spears Moxley through the barbed wire wooden board, and then Orange Cassidy with the glass fist knocks out Claudio for the win. And a great visual of Eddie just lying on top of Moxley, both bloody mess, and just put double middle fingers right into his face, saying gotcha, mother effer. We won this round. So very entertaining match. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Some of that stuff definitely makes me cringe. I can't believe they're doing this. Some of those guys are absolutely insane. But still, thumbs up on that match. Very entertaining. That definitely delivered.
We have a Chris was one of the most creative matches in pro wrestling history. Which, what you just told me, I was yeah. Looking back at it, yeah, that was it, especially the finish with you had a mother involved in a van that brought people. As far as creative wise, and actually it wasn't overbooked. There's a difference between creative and overbooked.
Yeah, no, there's some creativity. It definitely didn't feel like it went well. It was definitely they're really going. They're taking the risks here, but it definitely worked. So then after that we had the women's championship match, Fatal 4-Way. Hikaru Shida defended against Saraya, Toni Storm, and Dr. Britt Baker D&D. Just as we kind of both predicted that at first Saraya and Toni were on the same page. They were teaming up on the faces, dominating until they started arguing about who was going to try to get the pin for the title. So that started some issues. And then it went all downhill when Saraya's mother was trying to help Toni Storm beat up on, I believe it was Britt. She went to deck Britt while she was holding it for her, and she got out of the way, and she she dropped Saraya's mom like a bad habit. And Saraya didn't take that very well. Neither did her mom. Her mom wanted to kill Toni Storm for screwing up, and that's when Saraya turned on Toni and then it was free for all. At one point, Tony removed like the bottom turnbuckle and was going to do like a hip attack to going after Saraya's neck. To going for the injury that put her on the shelf for several years and made her thinking that she would never be able to wrestle again. Ruby came out to stop her. Tony just decked her. The finish was, this was a pretty short match. It was under 10 minutes, but they definitely crammed a lot in here. Britt tried to get the lockjaw on Sheeta, and she was fighting it, and Saraya took advantage. She grabbed the spray and doused Tony in the face with it, and then hit her finisher on Tony to pin her and win the title. Was just talked a little bit earlier. Like Saraya winning, I'm fine with that. Just was a little bummed that she was basically like a transitional champion.
Yeah.
I think it would have worked better if Tony had still been champion with the turn. But that's the way it is. And I wish the match had been longer. Like one of the shortest matches on the show, which is unfortunate.
I wish, and I realize they need to include like another woman, but like it should have been a triple threat. Like, and that would have been like a better story, like building up to it, because that's what they're building up to anyway. Like Saraya and Tony, and then the champion. The when DX was against John Cena, that was actually like a fun match. Because then like the match started.
It's a very legendary moment where as soon as the bell rings, Shawn hits Sweet Chin Music on Triple H and knocks him the F out right at the beginning of the match.
And John Cena's like, "What the hell just happened?" I thought I was
exactly.
Like, and that would have been like, maybe that's why they didn't do a triple threat, but like it was between those three ladies. Nothing against Britt Baker, because she's like she is the reason that we're all here.
She's one of Tony's favorites. She was not going to miss wrestling.
Right. Like, you're not going to miss All In, but like, you were fodder. I'm sorry. You just were.
Yeah. She was just there. It was just another body. It's like, didn't feel like she was a likely person to win the title. So,
yeah.
So, it's like thumbs up for the finish, questionable booking on that match.
Again, we want good female wrestling in AEW.
Yeah, I ran about it last week.
And Toni Storm is the best. Jamie Hayter, best wrestler.
Hope she can get back soon.
Sheeta, great wrestler.
She's awesome.
But for some reason, you cannot book either one of these three women good.
Oh, and one other thing related to this women's match. They had pointed it out earlier, but they did it even more in this match. The person formerly known as Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, who currently wrestles with all New Japan, was in attendance in the crowd for the show. Which caused people to speculate: is Tony going to try to lure her to AEW? And he was asked that at the post-media scrum, and he kind of brushed it off, just said that she, because she, works with New Japan and they have a good working relationship with New Japan, he thought it would be cool to invite her there, because he said that they had wanted her to be part of like Forbidden Door, but because she was injured, that didn't happen. So
I'll say this when it comes to Mercedes. Does he handle CM Punk good?
Yeah, that's why I'm it's like her going to AEW is not a lot, because there's still a lot of backstage drama going on that needs to be ironed out.
And like, is CM Punk the best person ever? No, but based on what Mercedes is and like her ego that goes into it, like, granted, dude, I want to see Mercedes / Sasha Banks.
If she came in and they properly book it, she would be the boost that the AEW Women's Division would need to take it to another level.
For sure, but the backstage shit.
Yeah, that may be a problem. That it's like that. It's like with what's the stuff that's going on lately with Punk, have her be not so sure if she wants to walk into that, especially after the shit that she put up with concerning Vince and some people, which is why she left WWE.
I think it'd be better in AEW for what she was complaining about, but I don't think it's still not going to be better.
So that caused a lot of speculation. People wondering, like, is Tony going to try to lure there? Well, we shall see. He didn't. He kind of sidestepped the question a bit, which is a smart move. That's something to keep an eye on. Then we got into another. There was a lot of hardcore matches. It felt like a bit much time. So we went into a coffin match. Sting and his best bud, the legendary Sting, taking on Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. Pretty good match for having old Sting in there. I mean, Sting got to do his thing. I mean, probably the only come on moment was he tried to put Swerve through a table. Table didn't break, and so he had to do it again.
and they put Swerve's and they try to stay in the coffin, and then Swerve's braids were outside of the coffin.
His hair was. Yes. But no, it was fun. Darby doing his crazy shit. I mean, like, people talk about how
this
crazy.
Was a fun match. Like, this whole card was just fun.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things we could be like, really? This is what happened?
Yeah, it's like it was a fun match. Of course, Sting and Darby won. His feud with Swerve may be over, but he's still going to try to win the TNT Championship from Luchasaurus at All Out in Chicago this weekend. So we're going to see where the stuff with him against Christian and Luchasaurus goes.
The sad part is I care more about Jack Perry and Hook than I do about Darby Allin and the TNT Championship. I just
it's weird, isn't it?
Right now.
Yeah. Then we had one of the highlight matches. Two big names in wrestling going at it. Will Ospreay.
Dude, the crowd for this match.
He got he's the heel. Ospreay got a hero's welcome. From
you remember when I told you I was like, I did not want this match. Then I heard the crowd. I was like, I'm all for this.
Yeah, I wasn't like, this was not a match I was like super excited about, but kudos, like, they put on a pretty good match. It's like
well, I like I told you, like, Will Ospreay is Seth Rollins. There's about a handful of wrestlers that can put on the best match today. Seth Rollins, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
Someone help me out with those two. Like, those three can put on. Just give me somebody. I will make a banger. And like maybe Sheamus. Honestly, like Sheamus is this. Thank WWE for giving us the Sheamus. Maybe Gunther. Okay, those guys, those five guys. Just put on bangers. Like, it doesn't matter who you give me. MJF, maybe, yes. Like, yes, I'm on MJF, but it's on MJF level. But like, I just give me a wrestler. I don't care who it is, and I will put on a banger. Will Ospreay is one of those top 5 guys.
I know he has some detractors online, but the guy just goes out and just he puts on a show, man. He's one of the best in the world. It's like bar none. And so Jericho is, he can still do some stuff at his age, but he definitely Ospreay definitely helped bring out the best in him in this match. Ospreay gets the win. Jericho got some figuring out to do. He Sammy was there in his corner trying to help him out, and Sammy went to console him, but he pushed him away and walked off. It's like and they followed up on that on Dynamite. That turned out better than expected. Then we got to second to last match before the main event, we had the trios titles were on the line as House of Black defended against the Acclaimed, and not daddy ass Billy Gunn, but badass Billy Gunn, as in old DX ass kicking Billy Gunn, because of all the shenanigans that the Acclaim had. House of Black had pulled on him and the Acclaim lately, and so they were looking for payback. Shout out to House of Black for the Bray Wyatt tribute in their entrance. Fireflies and a lantern. Thumbs up on that. Very cool. Long match, but a fun match. And the right team won. Acclaimed and Billy defeated House of Black to become the new Trios champions. House of Black had a really good run as Trios champions for most of this year. Had a lot of really good matches. And despite them terrorizing the three of them for the last several weeks, they gave Acclaimed and Billy respect. They handed them titles and said, "Okay, you earned them," and walked off. So really happy for him. I've talked about it with you and other people before. I think taking the tag titles off of the Acclaimed when they were super red fucking hot and putting them on the Ass Boys, I love calling them the Ass Boys, Billy's sons, the Guns, was a stupid mistake. And the Guns ended up being just a transitional champion for FTR to get the championships back, which, I'm not complaining. FTR got to be the champions again, but I think it was very obvious that they didn't want Acclaimed versus FTR to happen. And they wanted to get the titles to FTR, but they could have waited. They could have let them have it a little longer. It kind of hurt them a little bit, but I think this is a good start for them to get some juice back, because the fans still love them. It's like they're still very over. They love the whole scissoring stuff. So the right team won here. I'm happy for them. So hopefully this is start of some more good stuff for the Acclaimed and Billy.
They're the most organic over team in AEW history right now. And it was yes, you're right. But as far as AEW's history, the Acclaimed is the most organic over team we've ever had. Now, going back to what we're talking about, like that could put on bangers. Yes, Danielson could also put on bangers. Yeah, we're not excluding him. We're not excluding Danielson.
Yeah, can't forget Brian.
We're never going to forget Brian. Brian's probably
There's a reason I have the American Dragon shirt, because I love that.
Yeah, he is a GOAT status. There's a difference. Yeah, it's we're just talking honestly, he could probably do a top 5 right now. That's why it's GOAT status. But and that's why I like, he was a WrestleMania 30 champions, because we all of our marks came together for one time to be like, this guy is the best. Mm-hmm. He knows how to work a match. He knows how to do a match. And that's why Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan, or whatever you want to call him, became WrestleMania 30 Universal Champion, is because all of our marks all came together. It's like, yes, this guy is the shit. So yes, you are correct, Gif. Damn it. I agree with you.
Any other thoughts on the trios match before we
No, the trios match ended exactly what I wanted to, because we all thought it was, because when
they had to
came out, it was like, I'm badass Billy Gunn. I was like, well, they got to give him one run, as trios champion, then he can go off in the sunset. But just the fact that you can, and the Acclaim is the most organic tag team that they've had that's over, and they fucked up. So, and that's a lot of things that they fucked up.
Hopefully I think they learned their lesson, and hopefully they won't they don't get shafted again like they did when their tag title reign got cut way too short.
No, I suspect their trio tag team reign to happen for about 2 months, and then we'll find somebody else.
Hopefully they'll go into New York.
House of Black was awesome for their reign.
Yeah,
if someone says that their reign was cut short, bullshit. No. Their reign was awesome.
No, they had some great matches. they had a really good run with the trios titles. So it's like they did a good job of, especially after the chaos because of what happened with the Bucks against last year.
Unlike Cody beating Roman, this was time.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead. No,
tell us what happened. I'm pulling the trigger on the right people here for this moment.
Tell us what else happened.
Yeah. So then we had the main event. AEW World Title, MJF defending against his BFF, his brochacho, Adam Cole, baby. Now, I was torn about this match because it's like, people know me. I love Adam Cole to death. I want to see him have the AEW World Heavyweight Championship around his damn waist at some point. But I knew that the odds were that MJF was probably going to walk out of the title, and that's what happened. But this match was booked so creatively because at first it started out that, they were like, yeah, we're having a match. But then it was like, oh, you want to get serious? Oh, like, no. All right, we're going to get fucking serious. And then it started to get a little ugly. And I mean, I was like, I was really pulled in the spot where MJF was looking to tombstone Cole through a table, but MJF stopped and like, oh my God, do I want to do this to my buddy? It like he was like legit conflicted, which you've never seen from MJF before. It's like so showing that like this babyface part, him going partially babyface here. It's really happening because like he was all like conflicted. And the funny thing was, Cole, there was a lot of times where Cole did not hesitate to take advantage of that hesitation. So I was thinking like, oh man, what's gonna happen? And then the double pin finish, I was like, what the F? Because I was like, because I thought that was the finish. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that for the main event of the show like this. And thankfully, it was a psych moment. They're like, call back to their draw where Cole's like, no, give me 5 more minutes. But MJF saying, no, not 5 minutes. We're going to keep going until there's a winner, damn it. And so, and the crowd popped, and so they kept going. And then major shenanigans happened. You got not one but 2 ref bumps. At one point, God bless him, he took a freaking Panama Sunrise from Adam Cole. He did. Shield, so he didn't, and he took the Panama Sunrise instead of MJF. MJF thought about using the ring, and he hesitated. And then Roderick Strong came out to try to help Cole win. He took MJF to Dick Kick City, and told Cole to take advantage. And Cole hit some of his finishes. He hit the boom. It still wasn't enough. He gave him the title belt and told Cole to finish MJF with it and win the championship. And Cole looked like he was going to do it. And despite and for the first time for the majority of the match, he hesitated, where he wasn't been hesitating before. But then at that moment, he hesitated, and that hesitation allowed MJF to recover and pull him into a small package just in time for the ref to recover and for MJF to get the pin and retain. And then just the stuff afterwards was gold because, Cole was understandably upset that he didn't win because it's like, and then MJF's trying to cheer him up in a reversal of what happened when they lost to FTR, where he's the one that's trying to cheer him up, saying, hey, look, we're still tag team champions, man. It's, it's all good. And Cole just throws the title away. He's all pissed. And then MJF starts to lose it, saying like, oh, so you've been playing me? You're not really my friend? And then he told, he tossed the world title at Cole and told him to, turned his back to him and said, go ahead, finish it. It's like, get it over with. And Strong was egging him on to do it. Cole thought about it and was like, no, I can't do it. No, you're still my bud. And they hugged it out. to the light of the crowd, and Roderick Strong looked like he had an aneurysm and had to be consoled by the Kingdom.
This was such good storytelling. I thought just when I thought this match was going to be good, and I thought it was going to be bad, like I went through all emotions with this. It's like I was like, oh, they're going to do this, the double count out bullshit. Like
that double pin, I was literally like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right, I was like, for like the 80,000+ people, you're gonna do a double count out.
Like the fans were starting to lose it, man. It's like I was like, what are you doing?
But then I realized like, oh wait, it went back to when they were like, oh, give me 5 more minutes.
It was it was set for a callback.
It was a set for a callback, and then they did it, and then that happened, and then like this happened. I was like, dude, this match was awesome. Like this just is exactly like if you're not a wrestling fan, you wouldn't get it. You won't get it.
The storytelling booking in this match was brilliant, with the MJF being conflicted about like it's like I want to win, but I don't want to hurt my friend.
Right.
And Cole not hesitating for most of the match.
MJF of all people, like he's conflicted.
Yeah, MJF is the one who's conflicted. Cole isn't, and he tries everything to win, and he still doesn't win, and he doesn't take it well. But when MJF offers him the opportunity to end their relationship, their friendship, he can't do it, and so the bromance continues. And I'm very curious to see. I'm glad it's still going, because I think they can definitely still get some more of it, because this is one of the best angles that they've had in a long time.
To me, this is the best angle that I can think of that AEW has had since.
So I hope they
MJF versus CM Punk.
Yeah,
honestly, or just any Hangman like the Hangman versus Kenny. Yeah, but what Adam, because I've been waiting for Adam Cole to grasp into something, because I'm a super Adam Cole fan. Like Adam Cole is my favorite wrestler to this day. Like right now,
I will easily say Adam Cole has become one of my favorite wrestlers ever, and I never thought I would say that, but I adore him. I think he's amazing.
Thanks for going on my train, because I'm a big Adam Cole fan. I don't know why, but just something about Adam Cole, like he gets it.
Well, the first time I ever saw him was his 2 out of 3 falls match with Johnny Gargano for the NXT title at NXT Takeover Brooklyn in 2019. That was the first time I ever watched anything NXT related, and that NXT Takeover was an effing banger, and that main event was a banger. And I came away as big, huge fans of both.
Duke can tell a story better than anyone. That's why. Like, and I saw him on Indies when ROH years ago, when he was going against Jay Briscoe, and he was like the biggest heel I've ever seen. Like, he was the biggest heel. But like I watched that match. I was like, dude, Adam Cole knows how to put on a match, but he's not the biggest guy. He's not the smallest guy. But
he's a great talker. He's great in the ring. It's like he's really good at being able to build and tell stories with people. It's like he's special. So that's why I really wanted him to win. I wanted him to have that world title at some point. It's like he's come close more than once now. And so it's like, but. We'll see where this leads. Maybe this might lead to him winning the title eventually. Who knows? Depending on where the whole angle goes.
But him and MJF, damn, it's when they put them together, and then they made like gold. They made gold.
Yeah,
not just gold, like
they realize what they have here right now, and hopefully they got things planned out, and they're not just winging it and where this is going to go.
Right.
It's like because
So what we got next?
Well, I'll just follow up with just to stay with AEW, and then we can switch over to WWE completely. They followed up with a lot of stuff from the fallout of the pay-per-view on Dynamite tonight. They set up there's like some matches for All Out. They solidified the card a little bit more. We got because they already had Luchasaurus, Darby Allin for the TNT title, Chris Statlander defending TBS against Ruby Soho, Miro vs. Powerhouse Hobbs. It's like a big meaty men slap and meat match. Can't wait for that. There was some videos they filmed in the locker room after the pay-per-view was over. They set up 2 more matches. FTR went to talk to Young Bucks and be like, hey guys, we offered you a handshake and respect. Why didn't you return it? And the Bucks actually started to apologize, saying, they were upset because they thought they were going to win, and they took the loss hard, and they didn't mean to disrespect you, guys. And they were about to shake hands when Bullet Club Gold walked up and started mocking how the Elite aren't so elite anymore with the Bucks losing, and then they beat Kenny and company at the pay-per-view as well, and started trash talking them and also FTR. And so words were exchanged, and so then FTR and the Bucks are like, you know what? Let's shut these guys up. And so they are going to join forces. FTR and the Bucks are taking on all of Bullet Club Gold in an 8-man tag at All Out pay-per-view.
That's awesome.
And then on the Adam Cole and MJF front, they were talking backstage, and Cole let MJF know. MJF was like, I got to take a break, man. I've wrestled so many matches. I'm taking the rest of the week off. I'm probably going to go to France. And it's like, and he's like, yeah, go ahead. You do it. I just want to let you know, Tony's said that we're going to defend the ROH tag team titles at All Out. There's going to be a battle royal on Rampage. The winner will face us at the pay-per-view. He's like, okay, then I'll see you at the pay-per-view. And also that they're doing a tournament to determine a new number 1 contender that MJF will defend the title against at the Grand Slam Dynamite at Arthur Ashe coming up in a couple weeks. And then Cole was out in the ring talking about with the match and that he was disappointed that he didn't win, but he promised that he would get another title shot one day, and next time he's going to win. But he is also glad that, him and MJF worked things out. And then Strong in the Kingdom came out to bitch at him, saying that, he's like a false friend, that, he just leeches on the people and uses them and then dumps them when he doesn't need him anymore, kind of thing. And that's what he's doing with MJF. And he denied all that, and they chewed him out. And Strong said that he was going into the number 1 contender tournament, and that he was going to win it and take the title from MJF and do what Cole couldn't do because he hesitated, and he won't. And Cole didn't like any of that, so that furthered that whole angle. And then also Samoa Joe will be defending the ROH TV title against Shane Taylor. So that pretty much runs on the card. Looks like CM Punk probably was going to be on that card, but he's probably not going to be now, and we'll get to it in just a second. But Orange defended the international title against Penta. They had a great main event match. He beat Penta, and he will face Jon Moxley for the title at All Out. Do you
think Jon Moxley's going to be the one that's going to beat him?
I don't know. But Orange Cassidy cut one hell of a promo after the match was over, talking about that. He goes, I don't usually talk for very long and do this stuff, but I got a lot to say. That he's he loves being the champion. He loves his title. The title means everything to him, and he's going to keep defending it until like the day he dies. It was a really surprisingly passionate promo for Orange Cassidy. It was very different from him. It was really cool to see. So it's like I
haven't seen it, so I'll take your word for it. So.
Yeah, no, it'll be on. I'm sure it's already on YouTube. So it's definitely something to check out. And just setting up other stuff. There was like a women's 6-man that kind of like set up. It was more about building toward Chris Statlander versus Ruby at the pay-per-view. Callis telling Takeshita where all of Kenny's injuries, recent injuries over the years are, that the weak spots for him to exploit so he can destroy Kenny at All Out. And Jericho and Sammy got into it over what happened at the pay-per-view. Things got heated. Sammy they both started taking digs at each other. Sammy brought up the infamous incident where he nearly lost the title when he went out to eat after he won it. But then Jericho tried to mend the fences, saying that, you know what? How about we fix this by teaming up as the Sex Gods, and we'll go on. We'll start winning some matches so we can get a tag team title shot. And so and then Don Callis came up and was trying to tell Sammy that he's making a mistake continuing to be Jericho's friend, and Sammy told him to shut the F up and get out of his face. So they're definitely building more. There's definitely things brewing here between Sammy and Jericho. It's definitely heading toward some kind of ugly falling out here, I think.
Right.
So that's pretty much covers Dynamite and what's coming up for All Out on Sunday. Not bad for a thrown together card 1 week after another pay-per-view. There's some good matches here.
So we should unfortunately move on to the CM Punk stuff.
Yeah, let's go over that real quick because so as been reported by multiple outlets, we don't know all the details because there's so many conflicting reports that have come out about what exactly happened. The basics are what we know for certain is that just before the pay-per-view was about to start, both Punk and Samoa Joe are in gorilla position, getting ready to do their match to open the show. Jack Perry came up, and
before we get into it, I'll let Justin do it.
Okay. So apparently Jack Perry went up and had words with Punk about things that have been going on between them lately due to reports about that he nixed a spot that he had gotten that he wanted to do and got approval of, apparently, about using real glass in an angle as part of his feud with Hook that Punk nixed and chided him for why it's like, that's dangerous to use real glass. What are you doing? What are you thinking? And which led to Perry making this is real glass comment when he was using that as, I think, a weapon during his match with Hook during the pre-show. And they exchange words like, guys, like, do you have a problem with me? Yeah. It's like, and it's like not clear who shoved who first, but they got physical and had to be pulled apart. There was a lot of witnesses. Samoa Joe was there. Tony Khan apparently was there. It's just like there's a lot of conflicting reports between who started it, and there's a lot of reports that still not confirmed about that. Punk got really upset and that he didn't want to. He threatened to quit. He didn't want to do the opening match, and then Tony was scrambling this to see if one of the other matches could be moved up to be the opener instead. And that and other reports that Samoa Joe went to Punk and calmed him down and talked him into no, let's go out there and do our match. And that's what happened. Jack Perry was escorted, was asked to leave the building not long after this whole incident happened. Punk stayed for a little while after his match, but then he left about an hour after his match with Samoa Joe was over, just to apparently, avoid any other issues that some of the other wrestlers may have with him over the whole incident. So once again, Punk is in the middle of a giant backstage clusterfuck.
Yeah.
And it's really rough because, there's people that are on Punk's side, on Perry's side, and there's a lot of conflicting reports. There's even reports about that he had mirrorhead words, and other people are like, no, they were just joking. They're cool. It's a big fucking mess. And a lot of people were upset because they're worried that this was going to overshadow, the accomplishment of All Out in the pay-per-view overall.
Again,
like what happened last year when him and the Elite got into it, which led to them being all suspended for a while. So it's hard to say. I mean, It sounds. At first, I was like, okay, it sounds like Perry was mostly in the wrong, and Punk was trying to just defend himself. But then he let his temper get to him, and he got physical. Excuse me, with Perry, and it just went all to hell in the handbasket. I mean, this wasn't the only thing. I mean, it also there was some kind of mix-up. There was nobody to pick up Punk at the airport when he arrived, and he had to end up taking a train and got help from the local fans to figure out where his hotel was, which is 100% true and verified by photos of him.
I saw the photos
on the train with the fans took with him.
So first off, thank you, Justin, for taking over for a little bit while I went to the restroom. No pun. No, all inclusive and intended. I just went to the restroom, so Justin would just go over the, and he was also a trooper for going over the unfortunate stuff that's happened with AEW and our beloved CM Punk, who we actually do really like, but unfortunately, this is the second thing that we've heard about him. But I mean, yeah, I mean, CJ Perry, like CJ Perry, right?
Together? Yeah, Mira's wife.
Yeah, and he just came out and it all sparred from a collision where he wanted to use real glass to write him off TV, and CM Punk was like, "Don't do real
glass. Are you crazy?
Real glass," which makes sense. And then he was like, "No, I'm going to use real glass." I don't know. I'm just being.
Yeah. Well, it's like he should have said, "Why don't you ask Goldberg about what it's like to punch real glass?"
Right.
It's like there's that famous moment on Nitro where he punched out the windows on a limo, and that was real glass. He punched out, and he lacerated his arm and was put on the shelf for months, and which completely fudged so many plans and angles.
So basically, to me, it's just one person like that understands the business and one hard ass.
Yeah.
And then, but unfortunately, CM Punk just takes everything so seriously instead of just being like, all right, fine. If you don't want to, because there's an interview way back when, before all the CM Punk's interviews that happened, was like, if you don't want to take I told you what I want. And then if you don't want to take my, advice, then all right, fine. I'll just won't tell you anything anymore. That makes sense. But it tells me what we've heard laterly is like, you'll tell him, don't do that. All right. And then I'm going to give him shit because he didn't tell me because I didn't go for my advice. I'm like, that's different. If he doesn't take your advice, then just fucking roll with it. And then he'll brace the consequences. But then you're going to seem like the bad guy because you're going to go back and be like, because he feels like the locker room leader.
Yeah.
Which I understand. Like, he wants to be the locker room leader. But if you give someone advice, like he said before, because he said this before, we know this documented, where he's give someone advice and then they go out and do the exact thing that he doesn't want them to do. And they go, so what do you think about a match? I'm like, cool, whatever. Like, he said that. If you don't think that, go back and watch some footage. It's exactly what he said. And then he gave someone advice, and then he took it, and then they didn't like, I don't like that. And then they give him shit, and then he takes it personally. Dude, just who cares? It's not your life. But that being said, freaking defend yourself.
Yeah, I mean, like, if he started and took, was trying to punch Punk, I understand Punk trying to defend himself, but it's like there's other people who said that, it's like Punk took the first shot, it's like we don't know the whole story. All we know for sure is that there was a war of words. They got into it, they got physical, and they pulled apart, and both.
It just sucks, dude. I love CM Punk so much.
Yeah,
and what he's done for the world of wrestling.
Yeah,
and like what he's
this is not good. I mean, between the him attacking Hangman Page in a post show promo after Collision a few weeks ago, and now this. Oh man, it's like Tony Khan. It's like you really need to sit down with Punk and have a talk about, like, because like one more.
And I'm with you, dude. Because I've been trying to like get away from being like, a CM Punk hater, but like, dude, CM Punk, dude, just chill out. Like, it's okay. Like, I stand by your morals, but it's okay to be like, I just don't. In as a political atmosphere, right? It's okay to be like, okay, I see where you're standing by. I don't want to work with you, and just don't want to punch him in the face. It's okay. It's okay. But, and then go out there and just do your thing. But he has to go out there and just like, I'm just so indifferent with CM Punk because he's so himself. And he's amazing with him. He is so true to himself that it hates me that I like him. Because he's everything that you would like want to like to be anti-establishment. But he's so anti-establishment that it hurts himself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's like it's you have to wonder. It's like it's like I don't think he's gonna conversation because it's like another incident like this, and then it becomes like, is it really worth having him on the roster at this point? If these kind of things are going to continue to happen.
Yeah. But I mean, he draws numbers. Like, it's CM Punk, man.
Like, yeah, no, it's like the whether they're cheering him or booing him, it's like it's like he definitely gets attention.
He is a John Cena of our era. Like, he just is. So anyway, just not to like go away from AEW, but let's just dive into just kind of like gradually go into what SmackDown and Raw was, and we can wrap up because these were two shows to me that were very much Bray Wyatt and Terry. There's no company that gives a good video tribute to a wrestler like WWE.
The ones for
I thank them for it. They gave a great video to Terry Funk. They gave a great video to Bray Wyatt.
I loved Cody shared stories about him, and that it's like when he was with his dad there for one time, and he heard Terry Funk call his dad an egg sucking dog. Can we say egg sucking dog on Fox? Michael, is it okay? Oh, I guess it is. And just tell and I liked how he tied him to Bray as well, that they were both cowboys. It's like, and that they were special. I thought it was really nice because he was also he knew Bray pretty well as well. So it's like he lost two people that he was very fond of in the last 2 days prior. It was really classy that they got both Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan there to be there for tribute. That was very nice. Glad they could be
there. Man. That picture of Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan just like hugging each other, to like putting like their foreheads to each other. I was like, God. And then
touching the rocking chair, man. It's like that's get you right here. Yeah. There was like some matches, but the SmackDown was mostly about honoring the two of them. LA Knight cut a great promo to keep building his feud with the Miz because they're having a match at Payback this Saturday.
That LA Knight promo was so.
He did a great job paying tribute to Bray, and
so did Miz, but like LA Knight like made me tear up because he was.
He thanked Bray. I missed this earlier. One of the last great things that Bray did, it's like, even though people complained about the Mountain Dew lights out blackout match, the feud he had with LA Knight is the reason why LA Knight is so over right now.
Mm-hmm.
That feud got LA Knight over with the fans. That's when the fans really fell in love with him because he was going toe-to-toe verbally with Bray and doing a hell of a job. And it's like he helped to really sell that feud, despite some of the issues that some people had with it, especially the match. It's like the match was not the greatest, but like they did what they could with it. And obviously he understands that night, and so he paid tribute to him. And I love how he used Bray Wyatt's if you see me come and run on the Miz to let him know that he's going to destroy.
That made me tear up.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he said when he said yeah, and then everyone and he held up his hand and goes, oh, and one more thing, a wise woman tell me when you see me coming, run. And I was like,
yeah.
Shit.
I was like, hell yeah.
Just when I thought I was like, all right, and then you said that, I was like, God damn it, you got me again.
Like, I mean, there's two matches. LA Knight and Finn Balor had a main event match, but that was just a match. Same with Rey Mysterio against Grayson Waller, although that was part of the whole thing going on with Austin Theory.
Yeah.
To help kind of further that along. So there was a little bit of storyline stuff sprinkled in. No bloodline stuff. That's going to be back this week with Jimmy Uso back. So yeah, that was a very heavy show, but a nice tribute to both men. There was definitely more of that on. Well, there were some more tributes. They played the videos again, and
they had a video Funk. They had a video for Funk on Raw. So
yeah, and they furthered angles for Payback. Seth Shinsuke had a confrontation. Seth got a great promo, and then Shinsuke attacking him again, going after.
Dude, this how? Why have we got this Shinsuke for ever?
Where's the Shinsuke been? Because it's like he's freaking awesome right now.
Every time Shinsuke and again, we only get it for 2. I swear to you, this is it. They're all gonna get for 2 weeks because the pay-per-view's next week, and so
I hope this. Honestly, I hope this feud continues after the pay-per-view. I'll be all for it.
It's just the way that they do Shinsuke now. And
because you can believe that he could if Seth's not careful, he will cripple him. They're making you believe that.
As a mark, I know who Shinsuke is, so I know he can do that match and could win. But as a wrestling fan, as a WWE fan, you're oh well, who's Shinsuke? This melds both worlds together.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gunther's close it in.
We can't talk enough about how they've built. This is how you make money.
They've done a great job of building up this match in such a short period of time. And the promos and stuff have been off the charts. So
do you remember Paul Heyman's documentary where he went out and said a bunch of shit?
No,
maybe NWA or whatever. During his documentary. He went out and said a bunch of shit. NWA, I forget which NWA, WCW, I don't know, but it was Dusty was kind of the head of the creative at the time, and he went out said a bunch of shit, and Paul Heyman, who is Paul Heyman now, and he came back and he goes, he thought he was all the shit, and then Dusty looks at him and goes, "Where's the money?" And he was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "You said a bunch of shit, but where's the money?" And I was like, as soon as he said that, I was like, "Oh, I get that." As soon as that, it was during Paul Heyman's. I heard that during Paul Heyman's documentary. Paul Heyman's The First Hustle, that documentary, and I was "Oh, what are you talking about?"
Never seen it.
Yeah, watch that. But that was the first time that I as a person that loves the wrestling business, I was like, oh, I get it now. It's all about every promo is building to the money. How are you gonna make me money? And that's when that Paul Heyman promo that you saw on SmackDown, where he just went out and just buried Vince McMahon in front of everyone. there's a Paul Heyman talked about it in Inside the Ropes, where they were like, I gotta like when the where the the invasion was happening, right? And they were and Vince was like, I gotta figure out something, and Michael E. Hayes was like, if you want Paul E. Heyman could cut you out of he can cut you out of ass wide like y'all he had, and he looks at Paul, he goes, can you do that? He goes, and Paul's like, yeah, and he goes, can you draw me money? He goes, yeah, I can do it, Vince. And then he went out and drew that, you know, the what I'm talking about, where he's like, you've buried Sabu, you motherfucker. Like he didn't say motherfucker, but you get like he was at and just Vince just stood there and took it because he let Paul do, because he knew it could draw him money.
Yep.
And that's when that
getting back to the Shinsuke and Seth, it's like that these promos are what it's about. It's like that they sold me on the match, so I'm looking forward to it. Just a couple of quick things. So the Alpha Academy Imperium feud continues. Gable's going to get his rematch for the IC title, not the pay-per-view, next Monday, which means he's not going to be Gable because he needs to go past that Raw in order to break Honky Tonk Man's record. So, it's just I'm like, I was thinking like, I think I'd be okay with Chad Gable.
Give me a count out. Maybe. Give me a count out. Another count out.
Well, I already did the count out, so now it's like
No. Just do it again. Don't kill Gable. Don't kill Gable. Please don't kill Gable.
Hopefully not. It's like, but it's like that's going to be interesting how that's going to play out. Miz came out and imitated LA Knight to mock him, and
that was really good.
Miz has done really good like mock impressions of other people over the years, and this is definitely up there because he was nailing all the mannerisms and everything. So that it'll be very interesting to see how LA Knight's going to respond to that on SmackDown for the final push for their match at the pay-per-view. Let's see. Is there other stuff from Raw? New Day Viking Raiders. There's some other feuds going on in the tag division outside of the tag team titles, which is nice to see. So they're continuing with the McIntyre and Riddle as a team. I'm wondering where this is going to go. We'll see because
that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, we'll see. It's like it might be building toward some kind of.
They're burying the New Day, but okay at this point.
Yeah, and also the fact that he accidentally hit Xavier with a chair. It's like I don't know. It's like this is supposed to be like a 3-way feud now. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure about that whole thing. Judgment Day continues to have argument issues. And Rhea's getting tired of the shit. She called out Finn and Damien for few problems, making it clear that JD is not welcome, even though he's trying to help them out for Finn. But they think that we can solve all this because they are going to Finn and Damian Priest are going to challenge Sammy, and KO for the tag team titles. And it's going to be a street fight. A Steel City street fight in honor of, they're in the Steel City. So because KO and Sammy cut a great promo as they both can because they're awesome. They're sick and tired of Judgment Day, and that they're gonna wreck them at the pay-per-view.
While we here, like it takes me. Not to cut off, but like while we here,
Like we've been doing this for like how long?
Something needs to give at the pay-per-view because this whole like back and forth issues and Rhea trying to like be the peacemaker is going on for a few weeks now since the last pay-per-view. So someone's got to give because hopefully I think
the fact that JD McDonough should have been involved a lot longer, but because I think Vince had something to do with it.
So either because like if they lose, they lose the match, then something's got to give. So there's got to be a falling out. So someone's going to turn on somebody here. It's like out of frustration.
The thing is someone's going to lose out of this. Is if you break up Judgment Day, someone's going to lose. Not Rhea, not Dom, but Finn and Priest, right? And you already put Priest in a Money in the Bank situation. And Finn is a good workhorse. Like, why would you not keep him there? So, why would you not propel Jamie McDonough? I just don't see how you like. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to break them up, but that doesn't make any sense based on trying to propel new.
They're really stringing out the breakup,
right? And it just makes the stringing out just it sucks.
Excuse me.
You're good. Plus, my whole family's just like when we wrap up. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, so we got the main event was Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, Falls Count Anywhere. Despite Trish helping out, Becky came out on top because Zoe accidentally knocked Trish off through a table, and that allowed Becky to get the win. A very emotional Becky ended the show by taking off her Bray armband and letting out some tears over the death of her.
That too.
So that was a pretty powerful moment to end the show on. So real quick, so it's gonna be a wild weekend. We got 2 pay-per-views. We got WWE's Payback on Saturday night, and then AEW's All Out on Sunday night. So it's
who's gonna be on All Out? We don't know. Because
it's like we got matches, but it's yeah. So we got Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. Hopefully that's going to end that feud. There's a word that it probably will, and that they've been setting up. Tiffany Stratton, NXT Women's Champion, has been talking smack Becky lately, and they got into it on Twitter, and Becky's like, I never actually won the NXT Women's Championship. Maybe it's time to fix that. So it's like, you hit the hornet's nest with a stick, Tiffany. So word is that they're gonna do like a little mini program with Becky going down to NXT to get into it with Tiffany.
Let me ask you on that one, because like Rhea's been at NXT the whole time, and then Tiffany's gonna
still is, because Dom's North American champion.
Okay. I just want to just figure out how that works.
Yeah. They're still using main roster people there.
Okay.
So we got Seth versus Shinsuke for the World Heavyweight Championship. That should be a banger.
That should be a banger.
Rhea Ripley will defend the Women's World Championship against Raquel Rodriguez.
I hope that's a banger. That should be. Should be, because I like those two. Like those two know each other. So
they know. Yeah. And it's I'm hoping for that one to be really good too. Austin Theory gets his rematch against Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title. Not sure what's going to happen there. He might win it back. Who knows? LA Knight versus The Miz. LA Knight's winning that.
Yeah.
For sure. And then we got the street fight for the tag team titles. KO and Sammy against Finn and Damien from Judgment Day.
I just like that. It'll probably be KO and Sammy, which is fine. But I just need something.
Yeah, something.
I just miss when them and the Usos were going against each other.
Yeah.
There's just something with the bloodline that just I miss from WWE, and it's nothing against the WWE for making the bloodline
a great 3-year thing that made me love the WWE or like maybe want to tune into WWE. But damn, I want it.
Yeah, and KO is known to take high risk, so Sammy. So there's going to be probably some crazy spots in this street fight for the tag titles. So that's looking to probably be the main either that or Seth versus Shinsuke's the main event. I'm not sure. We'll find out. I'm not sure which one is the main event. It hasn't been officially confirmed, but we'll see. So yeah, not a bad card for not one of the major secondary like B-level pay-per-view. Because we're in the phase between SummerSlam and Survivor Series. There's some good stuff here. So should hopefully both shows will be good this weekend. We shall see.
Yeah, for sure.
No rant for me this week. I don't have anything to rant on.
I was getting ready to say, like, I know I gave you like a couple of segments to like just be by yourself. So, but no fault to your own. But I still want to give you a second if you want to rant for something. But no,
not this week. I'm good.
Well, Justin, it's always a pleasure. Join us again for the next week.
We'll see you next week. We'll have pay-per-views to talk about, and hopefully more positive news and not sad news. Or frustrating news.
Bray Wyatt and plus CM Punk and all that other stuff. Yeah. Like it sucked, but All In was amazing as far as the show. So
big thumbs up.
We have that thumbs ups going on, but just join us every week. We're going to give you the most positive, most unfortunately negative part, because that's what the wrestling business is, and that's why we love it. Because as much as the positive stuff, it also gives us negative stuff. But Justin, always a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be here.
And I will see you next week, because the one good thing about wrestling, it keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah.